As we all know, Deontay Wilder has been very critical of Mike Tyson over the years, and vice versa to some extent. At one point, he said he would have destroyed a prime Mike Tyson. Then there was a video which surfaced a while ago, it must have been at least a year or more ago, of Deontay Wilder in the car, and he was basically deconstructing Mike Tyson's resume, pointing out the fact that other than Larry Holmes, who was old and past it, Mike Tyson doesn't have any Hall of Famers on there. So he was basically insinuating or suggesting that Mike Tyson is overrated if you actually look at his record. Well, that video has resurfaced in the past few weeks. I'm not sure why, because as far as I'm aware, that is an old video, but nonetheless, it's resurfaced. And one person who has responded to what Deontay Wilder said in that video is Tim Witherspoon, former world heavyweight champion. He says that Mike Tyson in his prime would knock Deontay Wilder out easily. He said, quote, "Mike Tyson would have knocked Wilder out had they fought. I don't think Wilder's right hand would be enough at all. It would have been an easy knockout for Mike, in fact, only because Wilder doesn't have a great defense and he throws that right hand all the time. You need more than that in your arsenal to knock out Mike. In anything to do with fighting, I'd pick Mike all the way. Talking about who could beat who, I think Mike would just walk over him and take him out. Wilder is in no position to criticize Mike Tyson or anybody. I think that's a little bit too fast. Just because he has all these knockouts, he shouldn't still be criticizing. In terms of which direction he should be going in, I think his management needs to concentrate on him in the gym. Instead of Wilder going on Twitter and going on these other platforms criticizing Mike Tyson's record, he needs to get himself together and then do the talking. He's not Muhammad Ali. He's not George Foreman. So I say get out there and train good in the ring, and then you can talk about Mike Tyson. That's my opinion." End quote. So those are the words of Tim Witherspoon. And by the way, I think there's a case to be made that Tim Witherspoon would have stood a good chance against Deontay Wilder in his prime. Tim Witherspoon was an underrated heavyweight. I'm not saying he was the greatest of all time or anything like that, but stylistically, I could see Witherspoon giving Wilder a lot of serious problems. Prime Witherspoon was maybe, what was he, in the 220s? In his prime 230s. So he was relatively light by today's standards. Witherspoon's about 6'3", so he's giving away height and reach to Wilder. But Witherspoon was quite good at fighting tall guys. Witherspoon was quite good with his head movement and blocking and slipping shots coming forward. I mean, if you look at Witherspoon when he fought the likes of Jorge Luis Gonzalez, when he fought, I forget the guy's first name, Eklund, who was a big, tall guy. I'm not saying these guys are as good as Deontay Wilder or as dangerous as Deontay Wilder. Well, certainly Jorge Luis Gonzalez as an amateur was much better than Wilder. But as a pro, can I really say he was better than Wilder? But he's the same kind of height, okay? And Witherspoon was able to get close to these tall guys because he got good footwork and decent enough foot speed and then unload that big overhand right that Witherspoon liked to throw. So Witherspoon, he wasn't the most technically correct fighter you've ever seen, but he was a lot more technically correct than Wilder. So I'm surprised that Witherspoon didn't say that he himself could have beaten Wilder, but he's saying Mike Tyson. And look, the more we see of Deontay in there against real opponents, the likes of Tyson Fury, etc., the more we see of Wilder, the better assessment we can make in terms of how he would have done against fighters of the past. Ultimately, we'll never know because those fights won't happen. But surely at this point, the vast majority of people would be picking Mike Tyson over Deontay Wilder. Now, I always like to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't like to be hasty. Let me put it that way. When it comes to picking great fighters of the past over, fighters in the modern day present. because there's a lot of rose-tinted glasses type thinking which goes on. And I try and avoid that. You know, a lot of people who are veteran boxing fans like myself, my generation or older, they tend to have this biased attitude in favor of fighters back in the days. Yeah, I don't think it's that straightforward. I don't think it's just, oh, boxing is deteriorating constantly and it's nowhere near as good as it was back in the days. I think there are certain fighters around today who would have been very effective back in the heyday of whatever division. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the level of competition around at any given time. It's also about styles make fights. So with that being said, would I pick Mike Tyson over Wilder? Yes, I would. Would I pick Mike Tyson over every heavyweight in the division right now? A prime Tyson? Probably not. But that's a conversation for another video. I'm not going to really talk about that yet because I want to see this heavyweight era play out. I want to see the Tyson Furies and the Anthony Joshuas and the Wilders and the Dylan Whites and the Hergovich. I want to see all these guys have multiple fights, you know, long careers. Then when it's all said and done, it'll be much easier to make an assessment and say, okay, who would I have really picked in a fight between Mike Tyson and, let's say, Tyson Fury? Yeah, we need to see a lot more from Fury to really get a gauge on it, you know. Lennox Lewis, when he got knocked out by Oliver McCall, if you had assessed Lewis then against the all-time great heavyweights, you wouldn't have even put him in the conversation. You understand? You have to wait until the end of Lewis's career, then you view his entire career in that context, or you view him as a fighter, his ability as a fighter in that context. Then you can say, okay, well, we know the McCall loss and the Ratman loss, the losses were bad, but he beat better guys than those. So he has proved himself beyond those losses. So Tyson Fury's obviously never lost. Joshua has, Wilder has. Maybe they can redeem themselves. Maybe they can elevate themselves to the level of a Mike Tyson or a Lennox Lewis in the future. That remains to be seen. So that's the time when I would prefer to be talking about fantasy matchups. I know I've done fantasy matchups in the past, but, you know, I'd just like to see more of our current day heavyweights before I start doing stuff like that. Off the cuff, again, I say with Deontay Wilder that I'd pick Mike Tyson over him because of the fact that I don't think Wilder can really improve from here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he can improve. I think we've seen the best of Wilder already. Yeah. And if that's the case, I'll say Mike Tyson beats him. But with Fury and AJ, I think the best of them is yet to come. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Tim Witherspoon's comments. I'm sure 99.999999% of you would pick Mike Tyson over Deontay Wilder. I'm sure that, well, I know there was a lot of Wilder fans who said that Wilder would beat Tyson in his prime, but that was before Wilder got destroyed by Fury in the rematch. I don't know how many of them are still around. I guess we'll see in the comment section. But let me know what you guys think. It's Hamming them out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.